I'll just speak very directly to the matter, and trying also not to repeat what Doc has already said. But I'll tell you this, okay? A functional system is a system where laws work. And if we find ourselves in a situation where we have laws that just dwell on paper or in the papers or in the books and are not being tested, you get to a point where the people take everything for granted because they know they can do these things and get away with it. That is what we are seeing. Number one, it is worrisome. Okay, it is worrisome that state apparatus, state institutions, state property are being, it is our taxpayers' money, you know, being destroyed, and the state apparatus is unable to deal with it. Okay, what we always hear is that maybe a committee has been set up to investigate into the direct and remote causes of whatever, and then investigations are being carried out and the perpetrators will be brought to book. Before you know it, nothing happens. And then we're going to have a TV show. That's what I call it these days. A TV show where you have a body that comes up and says, we're a panel, we have finished our investigation, and they submit a very voluminous document to the executive of that state or local government or wherever, and then we say, okay, we'll look into it and we'll swing into action. Many months later, many years later, we don't see anything. We must never forget that one of the effects of situations like this is that the people, the electorate, are sitting back and watching and saying to themselves, if INEC apparatus in a state can be destroyed and nothing has happened, how safe are we on election day when we come out to vote? Does it mean that when we come out and these things happen to us, that it's just going to water down like that and nobody is going to care, and we'll just have 1 minute silence and then we move on with our lives like nothing ever happened? And so if we do not have the apparatus to deal with these things, we should advise ourselves, make a budget available, train the people appropriately, and do the right thing. I'll give you an instance. November 4th, 2021, the Anambra State elections. What is the level of violence you heard about? Very little, minimal, almost non-existent. Why? The security apparatus was on ground to make sure that none of those things happened. And I was saying to myself that should become locus classicus for whatever it is that is going to happen, you know, in February for our elections. Because it means that if we want to deal with these things, we can deal with it and deal with them, you know, squarely. There will definitely be flashpoints. And immediately the security agencies, the national security, should be paying attention to these flashpoints and make sure that the right number of people and the right number of apparatus is deployed to manage those places. If it doesn't happen, and it's not just about saying it, if it doesn't happen, and if some of these things that have been happening in the past few weeks are not addressed effectively, the electorate will not have the faith to step out on that day and say they are going to vote. This now becomes another opportunity for whoever it is that is doing this and wants to benefit from this to actually benefit from it. And so if we're not going to be definite about the actions we're going to take, if we're not going to be testing the law, if we're not going to implement the law, like I said before, then we're just wasting our time and we're just putting people in harm's way.